What is up, my fellow video gamers? Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about the video game industry and why I think it just needs a massive reset. And I mean this like from the bottom of my heart, like seriously. So we've all seen this generation so far. We went from, last generation having, pretty much banger after banger after banger, and they looked good. When the mid-gen console refreshes came out, the games looked even better. And then we bought these new consoles. And for the first little while, with the cross-gen games, it was pretty good for the most part. Games were looking better. We were getting, 60 frames a second. We were getting, we were getting pretty decent games, albeit, some of them coming out a little half-baked, could think about, like Cyberpunk, Gotham Knights, some of these other games that, just kind of came out and weren't really hitting that mark at launch, but then, as time goes through, they get fixed, they get better. But what I mean by like a video game reset, like an industry-wide reset, you've got PlayStation, you've got Xbox, you've got Nintendo. All of these guys are making more money than they ever have in terms of like overall just sales and moving product and stuff like that. But they are bringing in less profit every single year. And that just goes to show you that like the cost of things really are going up. But as I'm sitting here, like I was sitting here last night after I finished Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I was looking at and I started playing Star Ocean Second Story R. Square Enix, sent me a copy of that, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'll definitely check that out. So I'm sitting there and I'm playing this game, and this is a PlayStation 1, essentially like a remake slash upgrade, like whatever they're doing over there at Square Enix. Like this is like the third one that I've tried now. Square sent me out, Live a Live. They sent me out the Final Fantasy Remaster Collection, Pixel Master, and now this one. And as I'm sitting here and I'm playing these games, I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, man, like these games deliver on that nostalgia. They look absolutely incredible. The overall design of the game, and then bringing in like voice acting, bringing in just overall much better world design and visuals, like totally revamping this whole experience and giving it like this juxtaposed feature of having like the pixel art for like the character still, and then having like the full world, like in, I would say, new-ish graphics, like in between, last gen, like high-end last gen graphics, and, like looking really good, in terms of like a lot of different games. These games here, they got me thinking that like, wow, we definitely need more of this type of stuff. We do, because this game is fun. It's got incredible story. And it just sucks you in with the way that these older games used to do, and it kind of makes you feel like, wow, man, games have really started to kind of just fall off as we've gotten further into the future. I mean, these developers are worrying about these big high dollar budget games that are pushing like the visuals and all of this stuff, and they're stripping out all the gameplay. I mean, you've got everybody over there right now freaking out about the new length of the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare campaign. Now, I personally buy these games for the campaign. I play with the multiplayer, but I am not invested in the multiplayer like a lot of other gamers are. I am more of like that campaign guy, and then multiplayer is my add-on. Whereas with the multiplayer guys, their main thing is the multiplayer, and their add-on is, the campaign. So I played through this campaign yesterday. I got home at 3:30. Well, a little after, it was pretty much closer to 4. I jumped right on, started playing, and I finished playing right at 9 o'clock. So 4 to 9 is 5 hours. And then I started recording my review about what was it, 9:14 at night. I was looking at that and I was like, yeah, it's 9:14. And I spent 5 hours with that campaign, and I came away, pretty impressed for the most part. I didn't rush through it. I didn't go out of my way to. I enjoyed it. I sat back and I played through it, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time with the campaign. I had a good time with the overall game. And then when I put out my review, I got people in there telling me that, oh man, that game's trash. It's a 2 out of whatever, and blah blah blah, and it's the worst Call of Duty. And I mean, like, I get that Microsoft owns Activision now. Like, I get that. I understand it. But I'm not going to feel bad for me giving that game a 10. Like, I'm not. I fully enjoyed that game. I thought it was great. I loved everything about it. It had top quality visuals. It had top quality freaking performance. I mean, I'm running that thing on a 7900 XT, and I'm just blowing the doors off of it in the campaign-wise. Playing it at 1440p max settings and just well over 150 frames a second, and like the experience was absolutely incredible. I didn't run into any bugs or any glitches. It felt really polished, and I'm like, gosh dang, man, like this experience for Call of Duty, I was like, wow, this it didn't have a whole bunch of the missions that like slow you down and do all of that kind of stuff. It kind of had like a little bit like the game was a little bit more open, like DMZ type deal, where you can like go to different areas, you can find stuff, you find crates, stuff like that. So I mean, it was cool. I mean, for the most part, like the set pieces, the areas, the little things that you can go to, I thought it was cool. I thought it was definitely, I thought it was a good experience. For me, as somebody that only buys the campaign, like, I don't feel cheated at all. Like, I mean, I spent the same amount of money on Spider-Man and got 5 hours more gameplay out of that for the campaign. So, I mean, if we're going to go after, because I remember when I first started this channel, I was like, yeah, man, if I get this much hours, it's worth it. When I'm playing my Ubisoft games and I get, like, hundreds of hours, playing those games, like, it's just a different type of game. Like, I get it. Now, the Call of Duty with the multiplayer and all of that stuff, that you can tell that's where their budget goes, because that's what makes them the most money, that's what brings in the most players, and that's what keeps people engaged long term. I can go through a Call of Duty in my 5 to 8 hour span for the campaigns normally, and I'm usually satisfied. Like, the story content and the gameplay was so good that I usually feel pretty justified with that. And it's the same with PlayStation games. I usually feel pretty justified after getting through those, even though they're on the shorter side. But let's get back to this. This is why gaming needs to absolutely reset. This is why things need to completely either nosedive and then rebuild, or developers and Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo all just need to pull back in the budgets and be like, here's your budget, make a fun game, make something that's going to sell, make something fun. And just, I mean, like, the gamers that are into games, like, we're going to be just fine. We're going to be able to play them. We're going to be able to have a good time with those. I mean, the snobby people that have got to have, like, visuals and quality and stuff, they might not hang on too long. But when we get to the point where, like, we're getting games that, and I'm not saying like strip them all back to like regular Nintendo. I'm thinking more like visuals of last generation still going this generation, being able to hit that higher resolution, being able to still conserve 60 frames per second. That's what I'm talking about when we need to reset. We need to, keep our gaming, experiences, like last gen visuals with next gen performance type deal. I feel like that there is a perfectly reasonably fair trade-off, especially for all the people that bought 4K screens and want to play their games at 4K. I feel like that is more than sufficient. Now, just recently we had Spider-Man 2 come out, and a lot of people are like, whoa, this doesn't look good. It just looks like the same game as the last one. That's fine for the most part. It looked good. It played amazing on my 1440p monitor. The visuals look good. The overall performance was pretty dang spot on in the 60 FPS mode. You're still able to get your ray tracing, stuff like that. So I feel like the trade-offs that they made for Spider-Man 2 were definitely worth it in the end, because it provided a better performing experience and it still looked pretty dang good. You could tell that there was some definite upgrades, but then you could tell that there was some obvious downgrades as well at the same time. Like the mixture came out and it was good. Like it was good. It looked good. It played fine. I had a good time with that. I gave that one a 10 as well. I mean, I've been giving out 10s like candy just because I'm actually sitting here and I'm enjoying these games, guys. Like I'm having fun. I really do look forward to these games coming out, and then I get on them and I have fun with them and I play them and I experience those for what they have, and I come away generally like, yeah, man, that was a good work. That was a good game. I feel like, you know, not only with the developers and, you know, the publishers and the console providers or whatever, they it also has to do with the media too. Like the gaming media definitely needs a reset. They need to get rid of all these little activist people that are like anti-corporation, but then they hold up PlayStation like it's some kind of like law. And I'm like, what are you guys doing, man? Like you're gonna it's dumb, you know. You got like IGN giving the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare a 4 because Microsoft owns them. That's dumb. Like all of this hate and vitriol and negativity towards every single game of Microsoft that gets published is ridiculous. And you know, the Xbox guys are no better going after the Sony games, and you can go after Sony Corporation and Microsoft Corporation all you want, but the developers, man, like they're doing their best to try to provide an experience that is worthy of the money that they're asking us to pay for that. And when they get treated unfairly, that's why I don't treat PlayStation games unfairly. I don't treat Microsoft games unfairly or Nintendo games unfairly. I give you my honest, real opinion on these games. And generally, 99.9% of the time, the Spider-Bugs bridge, that kind of stuff doesn't bug me. I laugh at that. I absolutely laugh at that. I think it is funny. When I'm playing Starfield and I go to talk to an NPC and they start floating in the air, that is funny. Like there was this mission in Neon that I went to in Starfield, and like you're talking to one of the dudes at the corporation or whatever. It was a little while ago when I played this, but he's like telling me, "All right, man. Well, I'll give you back your ship or whatever, but you got to take this guy out, or I want him dead, or something like that." So I go into the room and I'm like, "All right, man. I'm just gonna put him down. I don't care. I just want this mission to end or whatever." And the dude's like sitting there on the thing with his legs all kind of up, and then he just starts floating in the air. So I was just like, pop, shot him, and he fell down. And I was like, that was funny. Like I'm okay with funny stuff like that. Like I get that games aren't going to always come out absolutely perfect, but the way that people blow this stuff out of proportion is getting ridiculous, man. If you've got a bug, like you're flying around in Spider-Man as a little sugar cube, reset the game. Start it over so you can see Spider-Man or Miles Morales flying around, man. Quit being so nitpicky, man. It's just video games. It really is, man. It is just video games. We're grown adults just trying to have fun with this entertainment. And it's... I don't blame like the regular fan. I don't. I blame all the drive-by YouTubers, the ones that have to support themselves on YouTube for creating this, and obviously the media, the journalist media and stuff, all these people that depend on the clicks to get rewarded to support their families and stuff. It's they're destroying the so-called thing they love for short-term personal gain, and that's what they're doing. And to tell you the truth, man, in the almost 3 years that I've been doing YouTube, that gets frustrating. It does. It gets frustrating when a game like Call of Duty comes out and I just want to talk to you like you're my friend at work and just be like, yeah, man, this game was cool. I love the fact that like when I go to switch to my sidearm, I throw my rifle up in my arm like this and I can point like this. That kind of stuff is just cool, man. It looks cool and I'm like, whoa, that is freaking awesome, dude. And or like, you know, getting up on a dam and like sneaking around and taking the dudes out and disarming the bombs and stuff, trying to be all sneaky, or you know, like going up on a base. It's out in the middle of a mountain range, and the mountain scenery just looks absolutely incredible. Those are the things that I pay attention to when I'm playing my games. I'm like, wow, dude, this looks incredible. This is immersive. I like the way this feels when I'm playing this. Not, oh my gosh, it's only 3 hours long, or all of the other, you know, because anybody can throw the Call of Duty's games on easy and run through them pretty quickly. Like, it's possible. It's 100% possible to get through them all pretty quickly. But if you put it on, like, you know, like regular or hardened or veteran or something like that, I swear, Modern Warfare 1 took me like 12 hours to get through that game on veteran. Like when I played through that, because I was like, no, man, I am playing through this whole game on veteran. I want to see if I can do it on veteran, because it was just like, this is the most realistic Call of Duty ever. But now we're 3 of them into it. Plus we had Vanguard, which all carry that new higher quality realistic look to them. And I kind of feel like people are just getting a little bit like, oh man, you know, Brian, what was his name? Not Brian at the Tar, but I watched this. I watched this thing. I think it was Alex Battaglia talking to one of the developers over at Insomniac. And the developer, you know, he said the thing that I like the most about video games. He's like, yeah, man, you can push the visuals and you can make it look like really realistic, but then they don't hold up that well. But if you make the game look cool and stylish and like kind of realistic but have more style to it, then they hold up a lot better long term. And that is 100% true. 100% true. And I agree with that. I would much rather have Spider-Man look a little bit gamey with realism and all of that than have it just look realistic, because then it just falls flat. It doesn't hold up to scrutiny as well as, you know, something that looks stylized and looks cool. Like, I appreciate that, and I like that look for video games. There's a lot of things, man. My love for video games is pretty deep, and it really does. It really does hurt, you know, not necessarily hurt, but it is disappointing. It is extremely disappointing to see the constant negativity surrounding everything. You know, if it's the Xbox guys bagging on PlayStation's newest one and done, you know, PlayStation exclusive, or it's the Sony fanboys, you know, picking on the Xbox guys saying that they got no games, or that like every game that comes out from Microsoft is bad, or like it's just so. It's so disappointing, man, because it's so hard to like be positive, because then you get all the people that are weak-minded or very influential that run around to all these guys that are just instigators and stuff, and then they show up at your channel, and you want to be nice because you know that they're just like, you know, they're just confused, or they don't have anything better to do, or they're just obviously miserable in their life. And the last thing I want to do as a content creator, as somebody that has a channel and you know, technically a public face, I don't want to make anybody else's life worse. Like, I don't want to make them feel like they don't matter. So I read their comments, and then I just kind of move along. You know, I try not to say anything, you know, because obviously if their life is so bad that the only thing they have to look forward to is getting on YouTube comment sections or Twitter or something like that and just being completely belligerent over a video game, they're obviously suffering. They are obviously suffering. And it's not just PlayStation guys, it's Xbox guys, it's AMD guys, it's Nvidia guys, it's everybody, man. And even including myself, I do it sometimes when I'm moody, man. Like I do. I'm not perfect, I'm not human, but I am trying to change things for the better, and I hope that I can bring, you know, at least some of you guys along with me so that we can start enjoying video games and like talk about video games and be happy about the things, the cool stuff in the video games. Like, I think this generation of gamers, to be completely honest with you, is trained so hard to just go out of their way to look for every negative thing they can about everything, just to make just to make noise on their favorite social media site to try to get freaking clicks and views and stuff. And if you've been here for a while, you know that I'm like completely the opposite of that. Like, yeah, dude, I definitely want the views, and I definitely want you to subscribe, and I definitely want this channel to grow, but not at the expense of my soul, and definitely not at the expense of what I love doing, playing video games, man. I don't ever want it to be like that. And I do think things need to reset. I do. I think things need to reset, and I think that, you know, until we get there, I don't know, man. Just a lot of things got to change. Not only developers and the publishers and, you know, gaming in general, but us as fans, we have to be better. We absolutely have to be better. We don't need to be jealous. If PlayStation has a game coming out, we should celebrate that. We should be happy about that. If Xbox has a game coming out, we should be happy about that. We should be celebrating that. We shouldn't be in these two tribes for two plastic boxes. I have them both. I have them both. I can play just fine on my PS5, just fine on my Xbox, just fine on my PC, on my Switch, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you love video games enough, you should have no problem with that. Yes, it's perfectly fine to have a preference. I do prefer to mainly play on Xbox. That's fine. Xbox, PC, PlayStation, when I want to. I have bought a significant amount of games on all three of these consoles, on all three of them. I've got multiple games that are the same game across all three platforms. If my PlayStation stopped working, I could play it on my Xbox. If my Xbox stops working, I could play it on my PS5. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's okay. I love video games. I do definitely think that a reset needs to happen eventually. At least in terms of games need to be more, they need to be more more immersive. I would prefer a more immersive approach than like the visuals and stuff. I mean, like, visuals look incredible last generation. They looked incredible. Like, we were already there. We were at the pinnacle of absolutely beautiful visuals. No reason why this generation can't keep that visual quality and bring us performance. I think the community of gamers out there would be a lot happier with 60 frames, 120 frames, and all of that. I think that would be a much better goal and far more achievable in being able to balance out, you know, people's expectations versus, you know, what they think. You know, the developers and everybody wants $70 for these games. Well, we were told at the beginning that we were going to get 60 frames a second. 4K 60 was going to be like the new standard or whatever, because our new consoles were more powerful. So I think that there needs to be a balance. We need to step back a little bit visual-wise. I do kind of think that Unreal Engine 5 is having a very negative effect on how gamers are starting to perceive games. And I don't think they're happy about it. I don't think they're happy about it. I hear a lot of complaining in certain circles about visual quality, performance, all of that. But then at the other end, I hear gamers that are like, "Oh my gosh, these are the best games I've ever seen," and they're like oblivious to like low resolutions. They don't even see the 864p. It's weird. You only start seeing 864p when you see Digital Foundry, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my gosh," and you hate resolution. Yeah, I don't suffer from that issue that much anymore. I mean, I've got, you know, 1440p monitor, whatever. Like, we'll get the games done one way or another. So, all right, my friends, thank you guys for listening to me rant for a minute. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate your support, and I hope you hit that like and subscribe.
Let Reina go. Do you have any idea what you're doing?
If you'll excuse me, sir, we are in the middle of a holy ceremony. In just a moment, we will be together as one. I would appreciate it if you would show some respect. Now then, my Reina.
No! Mr. Kenny, help me!
Stop it! This isn't anything holy! You can't force someone into marriage like this!
Force? I think you're a tad mistaken here. We are in love with each other. Love with each other. Love!
Alan?
Love with...
Oh no!
Mr. Kenny!
Damn it! Look out!
Be careful!
I'd say that was 8 out of 10.